If Aspire was a person, how would you describe it?
So the first word that I like to associate to the project Aspire is the word intelligent. It's a project that really takes advantage of its location and the opportunity to connect quite well within the existing mall. Intelligent is also a word that connects to obviously your brain power, if you want. It's not just an aesthetic thing. You're very close to success, if you can equally bring that to the party.
Ellipse development, which was such a fantastic project. It did super well. It's right next door. So how is Aspire going to stand out on its own in all senses of the word when it comes to the development, the design and everything? How is that going to stand out next to its very successful neighbor Ellipse?
Well, Ellipse was our first welcome project into Waterfall City. It's a very sculpture project, beautiful 4 elliptical tower, and it responds to the characteristic of that site. So when we started Aspire, we needed to obviously look things slightly different, and always we're trying to evolve as we develop new projects. And Aspire a different opportunity. It's directly linked to the mall. It's directly connected to the retail side.
And something I really appreciate about Tricolt, and I mean all of your developments are so different, and they all over the show in Joburg, and now in Cape Town as well. But I really appreciate the locality. Your choice of location is second to none. If I look at Johannesburg as a whole, you guys have super sellout rates when it comes to your development, and I would attribute a lot of that to your choice of location. They are really good. Everything from your Olympus to One Rosebank to Ellipse and Aspire, great locations. I mean, how do you go about sourcing sites?
It doesn't matter if we develop a single home, an office building, or a multi-residential development. You need to be careful. You need to be aware of where you're going to place yourself. And so in all the projects that you mentioned, we have always strategically look carefully of what is already there, or what is the future project that will coming in conjunction with ours.
When I look at the render of Aspire, you've really honed in on that retail, almost the entire ground floor is going to have a very warm, welcoming atmosphere with retail. Tell us a bit more about the retailers coming in, what's happening there.
We were really able to finally almost unlock the entire ground floor level or levels, and we really brought in that kind of more international opportunity where we're creating an active edge. So we were able to avoid to have the usual podium parkade situation, and so we have a great gym at the ground level, which is opens towards the outside. We have a coffee shop. We have a very grand double volume entrance with a resident lounge.
And I mean, so far as amenities go in the building, what are we looking at? Rooftop, pool, what explains me the journey?
On level 4, there has a great restaurant, which will be open to the public and to the residents, with an infinity pool, outside deck, and is perfectly orientated from a sound perspective.
Yeah, I can imagine the views are going to be absolutely magnificent from where you're describing. And right now, I mean, we're hosting this interview in Mall of Africa. We're actually in a mock show unit of what an apartment is going to look like in Aspire, and people can come visit and interact with the finishes of the unit. Talk to me a bit more about the layout of this apartment, your choice in design finishes. I mean, from what I can see, absolutely beautiful, really luxe. That seems to be a trait across all the Tricolt stuff, is you really go premium on your interiors.
Yeah, I think firstly, we are very proud of the way we present our product to the market. We always, as you can see, develop a full-scale, one-to-one scale apartments, which really give you the feeling of what actually physically you're going to buy and live with. And the finishes that were selected, I think, for Aspire, where we really wanted to embrace that kind of urban living vibe. So there's that kind of a more city edge, but at the same time we didn't want to leave behind the importance of creating a warm, welcoming environment. So we mix kind of detailed, like metallic brass finishes for handles and taps and things like this, with a warm floor made out of timber, or kind of a stone look tiles, which I think really balance well within the precinct and the project. Yeah.
And I can totally see what you're saying about that elegant kind of structure, that it belongs in the space and it impresses in a subtle way. So making a statement subtly is so important. Is there actual direct access into the mall? So I can go from the inside of Aspire into Mall of Africa?
So obviously the Aspire Tower is 22 levels, 22 stories, so it's higher than the mall, but all the lower levels that kind of match with the mall floors, you have an opportunity to access from a pedestrian point of view and also from a vehicular point of view. So residents can just quickly step down, cross the parkade, or come really down to the ground floor and have a direct pedestrian access.
The word is slightly abused in the South African developer landscape, in the sense that you create a building in a really great location and suddenly it's luxury. And I think it's more than that. When you talk about families creating, legacy in a property, it's got to do with spatial layout. It's got to do with lifestyle, standard of living. How does a person live? Is it a luxury lifestyle?
Yeah, again, I think we really love to consider that we have redefined to a certain degree the meaning of that word luxury. And in a way, it's probably more authentic. It's closer to the people that will inhabit those spaces. When we design, we're very careful to put the square meter where square meter counts. Especially when we start looking at your more functional spaces like kitchens and bathroom. They are very well crafted ergonomically in terms of the material, but also we're trying to not over provide in terms of square meter, and rather put the square meter where actually people will really enjoy and use. So luxury, it's not just about the finishes, it's about the quality of the square meter, of the spaces that you're offering. People can feel actually that they are in a bigger space, even if there's quite compact, units.
And that's really an art. When you talk about the one bedroom, I know there's a whole crowd of people that hate micro apartments and smaller apartments, but it's a pretty international thing to have a one bedroom apartment that's compact. But how you do that layout is really a creative art. And I've been in your one Rosebank one bedroom and a number of others, and I must say, it just feels there's volume. The space has been designed really well. It's rare to find a compact unit that feels like it has height, that it's breathable, that the bedroom has breathing room. I think you've done a really good job of that in your other developments.
Yeah, listen, I think the art is in crafting the space, 1 millimeter at a time. Probably as well, my background helps. I've lived in Venice, in Italy for 5 years. I studied there, where people are so crowded. It's a very dense city. Families on top. But it's an art to trying to unpack a very small, a compact space. Some of those experiences have probably helped me through my journey of understanding how to, unpack and maximize the use of small spaces. We really take care of crafting those spaces, understanding the materials, understanding the finishes, understanding kind of the crafting of almost like if you were doing, like a beautiful sport car. You need to look every single detail, from your exterior body to your internal finishes. Nothing is kind of left behind. My
name is Ash from Ask Ash, and that was my chat with Aram, Head of Design from Tricolt, when it comes to their newest development in Waterfall City, Aspire.